Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. What a very strange day for news today. It is January 8th, 2024. So many of you have been sending me clips and links, and we're going to be talking about the explosion at the hotel in Fort Worth. How's that for my accent? In Dallas, Fort Worth, or Fort Worth, I guess it is, in Texas. We're going to be talking about the strange hospitalization or the strange timing of the hospitalization of the Department of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. I just did a video about him and others being sued for their deeds, their dirty deeds related to the cocktails. And then this news that is coming out about Mary Lou Retton. So there's a little bit of a thread that I want to tie together for you. This is always about critical thinking, and it was just a very strange news day. So I thought I would cover a couple of stories all at once. If I have time, I will do another video either later today or tomorrow, because there is another strange connection with another investor out of Texas and the tie-in with Maui. Yes, you are just going to your jaw is going to be dropped on the floor like mine was when I read all about this ongoing corruption. And I'm talking about tens of millions of dollars. I know you're probably not surprised. And I also want to take a moment before I bring you the sponsor message. I want to thank all of you for your amazing cards and letters and little goodies that you sent to me over these last several weeks. And I'm a little behind in my thank you notes. I do have help with that from Rhonda with my correspondence, but I just want to let all of you know that I have received them. I have been encouraged by them, and I'm going to be sharing some of these on the broadcast, especially what a healthy American sent to me related to Joshi Green. I may have to, definitely, I will share that on the show. But first, let me share a message from our sponsor. And we are hopping right on over to noblegoldinvestments.com. And I've been telling you about Noble Gold because they've been with me from the beginning. Let me clear this out. And here's where you want to go is noblegoldinvestments.com. There's a number where you can get all of your questions answered by someone in the United States. And that is 877-646-5347. I will have a link for you in the description box below. You will get expert advice, all of your questions answered. And you know that global financial storms might be raging, but thousands of investors in precious metals with Noble Gold Investments are smiling. They know that whatever happens, their investments will be safe from the turmoil. So think about protecting your savings from market volatility with a Noble Gold Investments IRA, and you can claim your free gold bullion coin. Talk to a Noble Gold Investments expert today, and they will talk you through all of your options. And if you qualify, they'll guide you through the whole process. So just check it out. See if it's a good fit for you. Again, that's 877-646-5347. I would just call them as soon as you can, and then take control of your financial future. Or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. It's the only gold company that I trust. They've been with me from the beginning. And of course, there's a disclaimer that no investment is guaranteed, and past results are not indicative of the future. You know all of that, but check it out, noblegoldinvestments.com. Friends, let's start with this news story about the Department of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Just a couple of days ago, I actually brought you this story. I'm going to hop on over to my YouTube channel. Just a reminder that when you go there, click on videos and click on live. I'm streaming live. Most of my videos are live. Trust me, YouTube is not going to offer up my videos to you. You have to tune in with me 4 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. And here I did a military letter for accountability. And there were actually, I did 2 videos. I did have preloaded one here under videos holding the military accountable. And then under the live playlist, we were talking about exactly what was going on here. So I will also have that linked up for you at the end of this video. So here's what's interesting. For the last few days, the Department of Defense Secretary and others of the top brass, these military leaders, were basically given notice, not a lawsuit, but they were given notice by hundreds of current and veteran veterans in the military, saying, we are going to hold you accountable for any medical harms that you inflicted upon us because of those requirements for the cooties cocktail. And I did analyze that. I also have a Substack on that as well, where I went into great detail. But what is interesting to me now is that headlines are just coming out that Lloyd Austin has been suffering from cardiac issues. Gee, hardly anybody is ever suffering from cardiac issues these days, are they? Of course not. It would have nothing to do with whatever else people were participating in over the last few years now, would it? Not at all. And it's absolutely, I just want you to rest assured, as tragic as it is, it's absolutely normal and probably expected these days that adolescents and young adults are just going to die in their sleep when they didn't have anything wrong with them before. So instead of the sudden infant death, it's sudden adult death syndrome. I've done videos on that before. It's called SADS. And yes, it's very, very sad. So let's see. Lloyd Austin is not a young adult, but it's just so strange that someone would end up in the hospital with any kind of cardiac issues. And there has been very little released about that. Now, this is what troubles me about this story. This is a prominent person who, as we are basically tiptoeing around World War III, the top chief in charge of the military has heart problems, and that's being swept under the carpet. And we don't know the severity or what kind of treatment or if he's being released or any of that. It's all shrouded in mystery. So I find that interesting, given I just did another story in the state of Florida, which passed a law that many of you were in favor of. This was, I think, some of the best views that we've had in terms of you giving your opinion as to whether or not these elected representatives should have to come up with all of this detailed information about their finances, about their net worth, about everything that they own over $1,000. I mean, down to the dollar. So many of you applauded this action in Florida, saying it's going to keep these crooks honest. And I think I had so much in the Substack, which is peggyhall.substack.com. So friends, if you would like to read I think we have, oh my gosh, dozens and dozens of commentary of comments with people giving their perspective, both in favor and against this new law. And what's interesting to me, because I realize where you're coming from, it's like, let's hold these public serpents accountable. But what gets me is like, if they're cheaters and frauds, you think they're going to be honest about what they're disclosing in their financial documents. So that is kind of a tough one to pin down as well. And I am in favor of people being, how do I put this? I'm in favor of those government officials being accountable if they are getting money from anyone else that wants to line their pockets, because and I know that these selections are often bankrolled by special interests, big corporations, and others that want their favors called in. This is really, that's what politics is really about. So I thought it would be interesting if they had to disclose maybe their financial net worth or whatever at the beginning of when they were elected, and then later into their term, so that we could see if anything had changed. But again, I can't trust that they're going to be trustworthy anyway, even disclosing all that information. So fantastic topic. And I thought, here's where I'm drawing the parallel. On the one hand, these public servants, because I don't know if these in particular in Florida are slimy serpents or not, but these government officials are being called on to expose all of this private information, yet we can't get the details about the top secretary of defense. I mean, that is very strange to me. I will continue to cover this story and bring you more news on it as it unfolds. If you would like to get a link to a story, I will have that in my Substack, where I have a very short Substack about this breaking news of Lloyd Austin and his heart condition. Now, some of you are going to say, God gets the last laugh or God gets the last word, because isn't it interesting that he was the one pushing all of this for the military? And wouldn't it be interesting if, how does the expression go? He got a taste of his own medicine. Speaking of getting a taste of your own medicine, the next news story I wanted to cover is this very tragic news coming out about Mary Lou Retton. Now, we're not going to talk about anything other than Mary Lou's current condition, which is a very rare form of pneumonia. I could not find out, and I was just scouring Twitter and social media. I could not find out whether or not she herself decided to become a human pincushion or not. All I've seen are people's comments saying, "I'm sure that she was, and that's why she has this very rare form of pneumonia." And then other people saying, "I'm sure she's not a human pincushion because she is a very staunch Republican." But friends, your political party has very little to do with your pincushion status, as I have found out from people that I know. There are very many people that I would consider, conservative, Republicans, Christians, what have you, and they're going along with it hook, line, and sinker. And again, it's their choice. Don't inflict it upon me. So I do not believe that one's political party is going to be the end all be all or of whether or not they are a human pincushion. I did not find anything on social media or from Mary Lou related to that. But I will let you know, I just have this here, let me share my screen and you'll see some of the headlines here. My prayers go out to anyone who is suffering, whether it's financial problems, medical problems, relationship problems. And here we go. 10 hours ago, Mary Lou Retton says she's a fighter amid this, and it's a rare form of pneumonia. Mary Lou Retton is grateful to be here after ICU stay. Mary Lou explains why she was uninsured during this. And there was a fundraiser. I saw that it was about $500,000 that was raised for her medical care. And it probably cost that much given this mainstream medical system and how expensive things are. But I just did another little search on Giggle because it's so funny. Not the condition, but Giggle itself is funny. And here we go. There is a rare disease, a rare type of pneumonia that, now I don't want to say this out loud on YouTube, but you can read that it has to do with people that were, how do I put it, immunized. I'll just put it that way, that got the jab. And here's another one. Eosinophilic pneumonia and the cooties cocktail, acute, I don't know the pronunciation, rare and severe form of pneumonia associated with the jab, acute exacerbation of the interstitial pneumonia. So it just goes on and on. A side effect of the jab, severe acute interstitial lung disease after becoming a human pincushion. So this is just sad news. I don't have a remedy for this other than to bring the information for those that still may be unaware of these dangers. And it's very sad and it's unmistakable that these kinds of cases are becoming more and more frequent. So my heart goes out to all those that are suffering. So I had a third story that I wanted to share with you, friends. And what was the third story that I wanted to share with you? This crazy explosion out of Texas. So let me just hop on over to Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. So we'll hop on over here and it's making headlines here. I really liked this person's comment. He said, wait, so the whole ground floor of this building was just blown out in Texas and it's still standing. But the Twin Towers hit by a plane on the upper levels and they fell straight down, not to mention another building that wasn't even affected. He says, now I'm no structural engineer, so I thought that was a very interesting comment. There are lots of images out there, and I did a little digging into the owner of this hotel. It actually just came sort of online recently. It opened recently, and this is Northland Properties Corporation, and it's owned by Bob Gagliardi and his family. And apparently they are longtime hotel owners. They kind of started out more at the budget cut rate hotels, and then they wanted to get more into sort of the elevated high end level of hotels. So this just opened recently. I'm still, because it's such brand new news, I'm still digging into it a little bit, but I would love love to hear your comments. If you caught anything that seems scandalous or out of order, or if it doesn't add up, they are calling it a gas leak or a gas explosion. And the only thing I saw that was a little, caught my eye was 11 people were injured. And I hope that, let's see if I did not see if those were deaths. Of course, my heart goes out to anyone who is harmed in these situations. The other thing I thought was interesting when I did a little search on Giggle, actually, I don't really like to, well, I'll just tell you, there were a couple of strange, if you go on TripAdvisor, there were a couple of strange reports of some unsavory activity at some of these Sandman hotels. And I'm not really blaming the hotel, although the hotel manager should be on top of this. And apparently there were a couple of strange situations with men and offering candy to children. I'll just put it that way. I'm not drawing any conclusion, but when I did my cursory research before I hopped online with you here, that was the only thing I could find that was a little bit strange about the Sandman Hotel. So I've never stayed at one. I don't know this Galgardi family. There will be deeper digging, I'm sure, but I wanted to cover that since many of you were asking me if I had heard about it. So that's what I've got for you. Just some breaking news that I thought was strange on this first day of the week here, January 8th. I will be doing a second story for you because it ties in a little bit to Texas and real estate and investors, and it has to do with building low-cost housing in Lahaina on Maui. And you are not going, well, maybe you will believe the amount of money that this builder is saying it will cost to create these low cost housing units. All right. I didn't know that low cost housing units are in like the $750,000 range, but maybe that's just me. Stay tuned, everybody. I'll see you. Give me a few minutes to line up my information. Big shout out to all of the moderators. Be sure to get on that free Substack, peggyhall.substack.com. And that's where you can get some written analysis and links to this information that I'm covering. And I look forward to seeing you in the very next broadcast.